Should the Mythical Slab card be played before Professor's Research and Pokeball, or after? And should it be played early in a match or later? The true answer and best strategy may not be as complicated as perceived. Stay tuned for a PvP battle using the Mythical Slab card after I explain the play strategy details. Hi, I'm Insane Rider. Welcome to the channel The Budget Gamer. With many different opinions on how to best utilize the Mythical Slab card, there truly is no single one right answer. The truth lies in the fact that there are multiple right answers. It comes down to the specific situation. With that covered, let's review the gameplay strategies. In a situation where you need and are concerned you'll send an important card not currently in your hand down to the bottom of the deck, you'll want to play the Mythical Slab card prior to a Pokeball. This allows the Pokeball to reshuffle your remaining cards and hopefully move that important card up from the bottom of the deck. If the situation is that you're searching for a Pokemon to start, continue, or complete an evolution, it makes the most sense statistically to play Pokeball and Professor's Research prior to Mythical Slab. This will thin out your remaining cards available and give you improved odds of getting a Psychic Pokemon. And finally, if you're going to include Mythical Slab cards in your deck, consider adding a pokedex as well. Pokedex lets you look at your top 3 cards in your remaining card deck. This guarantees that you'll have the proper timing to play Mythical Slab without inadvertently sending a needed card to the bottom of your deck. And you'll pull your next Pokemon one turn sooner. A win-win for sure. Now that we've covered the basic strategies of the Mythical Slab cards, let's see them in action. Okay, now that we've covered the strategies, at least the basic level strategy, let's go ahead and dive into a match. While I queue up, let me go ahead and review what I have for this Mewtwo EX deck. I have 2 Mewtwo EX, 1 Mew EX, 2 Ralts, 2 Kirlia, 2 Gardevoir, 2 Professor's Research, 1 Sabrina, 1 Budding Expeditioner, 1 X Speed, 2 Pokeball, 2 Mythical Slab, and 2 Pokedex. Alright, so it looks like I got a Ralts to put into the active spot. I see some fighting energy over in the energy zone for my opponent. I have 2 Mythical Slabs in my hand, and I have Professor's Research and Gardevoir, so we'll go ahead and get started. Now, my first approach, since I have Pokedex cards in my hand, in my deck, I'm looking to play those first so that I can figure out what would be the best time to play a Mythical Slab card. Now, I already have a Pokedex, a Pokeball, and a Professor's Research. Those are very important balls to have. Now, the Pokeball will reset my hand if I misplay a Mythical Slab and send an important card down to the bottom. But I know I have 2 of those in there, so I'm going to go ahead and play this Pokeball, so I can always do that reshuffle if I need it. In this case, I get a Mew EX, so I'm going to place Mew EX on the bench. I see Geodude on the other side, so it looks like I might be up a Golem deck, up against one. Professor's Research. I'm going to go ahead and pull 2 more cards. So I've got both Professor's Research and a Sabrina. The other key card in my deck is a Budding Expeditioner. So keeping track of my cards is important if and when I play a Mythical Slab card. Alright, so with that, I'm not going to play anything else this particular turn, and I'll go ahead and end my turn. However, if I don't get a Pokedex card within a turn or 2, I'll probably go ahead and play a Mythical Slab anyway, just because I know I've already got my Professor's Research, I've got a Sabrina. It would only be a shame if I set my Budding Expeditioner down to the bottom of the deck, but if so, I'll know that I've got one more Pokeball to hopefully retrieve it. So there's Geodude with a nice 20-point attack. At this point, I was hoping for an X Speed. Doesn't look like I'm going to get it. I will go ahead and put this point of energy on Ralts so that I can start with a retreat. However, I'll go ahead and use Professor's Research. So those are both of my Professor's Research. So I know that I'm not going to lose that card, sending it to the bottom by misplaying Mythical Slab. I'll go ahead and with this, I'll go ahead and retreat back. I'll put Mew to the front. I'm going to hold on to that Pokeball, and the reason is I'm going to go ahead and play a Slab right now. Okay, so there we go. There's the, excuse me, the one card I was worried about. Budding Expeditioner is going to go to the bottom of my deck. I didn't want that to happen. However, like I mentioned, I can go ahead and play a Pokeball, and I can at least bring the Budding Expeditioner back into somewhere in my deck. However, I'm not going to be able to do that again. So with that, the next Mythical Slab that I play, I definitely need to make sure I have the Pokedex card as well. Alright, so I don't have a whole lot else going on here. So with that, I'll end my turn. Alright, so I got 2 Geodudes for my opponent. One in the active spot, one on the bench. My opponent's throwing a red card out. I don't actually mind that because I wasn't really super satisfied with what I had. My opponent has brought me a Ralts. So I'll go ahead and put that Ralts. I did lose my Gardevoir, so that is a win for my opponent with the red card. There's a Pokedex, so we'll be playing that. So I'm going to go ahead and play this Ralts. I'm going to go ahead next and play Pokedex. I'm going to take a look. So Gardevoir is coming up, followed by Gardevoir again, followed by Kirlia. So now that I've taken a look, I know I need that Gardevoir. I can get it one turn sooner. So I'll go ahead and place that down, and I'll use Mythical Slab right now. And voila, there's Gardevoir. Gardevoir into my hand. And then into the evolution. So with that, I'll assign 1 point to... I don't have an X speed. So what I think I'll do is I'll put this point on Mewtwo. And I'll put this energy on MEWEX. With that, I'm going to go ahead and retreat. And put Mewtwo EX into the active spot. Okay, and then with that, I'll end my turn. So in the last couple of sequences, I've used Mythical Slab without knowing what the cards were gonna bring me. I pulled my Budding Expeditioner, which is a card that I value and deem important for this game and for play. So I had saved one Pokeball, and I used that to basically reshuffle. I had one other slab, and that one I held out for my Pokedex card. I was able to take a look. I was able to see Gardevoir coming up right away. So I went ahead and, after playing Pokedex, I went ahead and played my last Mythical Slab card to get Gardevoir on the table one turn sooner. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's assign this... this energy here, and we'll place this energy here, and with that I'll go ahead and attack. So we got 2 Geodudes, Graveler's next step for evolution, stage 1, followed by Golem for stage 2. My opponent's energy zone continues just to be fighting. Sometimes tuning into an energy zone can kind of key you in on what perhaps the opponent has. So it looks like we're probably with an Aerodactyl EX. Oh, no. They're going to take a different route. They're going to use Chatot and Fossils to quickly kind of try to burn through their deck. A little bit more of a fast play with this approach. There's Geodude with a nice 20-point strike. Alright, so we knew this card was coming next, so I'm going to go ahead and put Kirlia onto the bench. So I'm actually looking pretty good right now. My opponent looks like they're struggling a little bit getting their Golem on the table and active. I'll go ahead and assign this point of energy here to Mewtwo EX. I'll take this energy and I'm going to go ahead and place it on my Mew. And with that, I'll just do a 50-point damage Psychic Sphere. That gives me the early lead, but we know how matches go. You can be up 2-0 and things still go south for you. So there's Chatot. Chatot's going to hopefully help my opponent pull a Graveler and then ultimately a Golem. There's a Pokeball, so they can potentially bring another Chatot onto the bench. So far, we've only seen Chatot and Geodude for basic Pokemon. There's an X speed, so they're going to go ahead and retreat back. Now they're going to ask Sabrina to step in. So with that, I'll go ahead and put my Mew to the front. Now Geodude can evolve to a Graveler, which would be a 70-point attack. And there's a Mimic. And unfortunately, my opponent's a little bit on the struggle bus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Sabrina to start. Yep, they knew I was going to take out that Geodude. And with that, they would only had to Chatot remaining. So there's a great example of a Mythical Slab in action. Again, we used one Mythical Slab without anything leading up to it. I knew I had a decent amount of my cards already pulled. Sabrina, 2 Professor's Research. I'd already used 1 Pokeball. The only card I had that I was kind of worried about was Budding Expeditioner for my Mew. And of course, I played it without knowing what's going on, and Budding Expeditioner came up, so went to the bottom of the deck. But I was holding on to the other Pokeball so that I could basically reshuffle the deck, my remaining cards, and bring it somewhere from the bottom, at least up closer. So that was the first play. And then the second play, I used a Pokedex, and I could see that I had a Gardevoir coming up right away. I already had a Kirlia on the table. So with that, I went ahead and played my Slab. I was able to get Gardevoir on the table and active 1 turn sooner. So Mythical Slab can be a great source for extending or expanding your deck. It's a great card. It just takes the right situation to be able to play and use it. And I know that there's people out there saying there's only one way to play it. You either got to do it in this order or in this order. Maybe it's you always got to Slab first and then do a Pokeball. Maybe it's nope, you always got to do Pokeball and then a Professor's Research and then finish with a Slab. Some will say only use it with a Pokédex, then Slab. Whichever way you decide to use it, I think there's right answers for all those situations. It really comes down to paying attention to what you have going on and counting your cards to make sure that you've got a clear and concise idea of what potentially is still in your deck. So then you can figure out the most opportune time to play Mythical Slab. So I just want to say thanks everyone for watching this video. Please take a look at my channel for other great videos to watch. And as always, let's battle.